Numerous war crimes and untold tales from the Second World War are still being discovered today. 8 decades after the war engulfed the continent, more warriors are being unearthed from European battlefields every day. However, as the Germans seized other countries and territories and the inhabitants of those nations refused to put up with the atrocities of the Nazis, a large number of resistance groups arose during World War II. However, it has lately come to light that the French resistance carried out several executions that are still unreported, and many of the individuals who served in the French resistance carried their wartime secrets until their deaths. However, a 98-year-old resistance veteran recently came forward to recount how the French resistance massacred as many as 40 German soldiers after D-Day. What's the story behind this, though? Come along with us today as we examine this, and please remember to subscribe to help our channel. The British and their allies were putting spies inside France in order to cooperate with the French resistance in the lead-up to D-Day. In order to delay and disturb the Germans who would pursue the landings to the north of France, they would be crucial to the Normandy landings. However, the French resistance were a dreaded enemy and were known to have been a vicious enemy of the Nazis. In the event that resistance members were found, the Germans typically executed them without asking many questions. Some were taken to concentration camps, where the conditions led to their death. They did contribute significantly to the Allies' swift march across France after D-Day, and activities within France had been going on for a long time, even before the Germans took over. The Nazis implemented a number of strict measures against the resistance, and several groups, including the Maquis, moved to the mountains and forests to live and conduct operations. The Germans had a hard time finding these soldiers, and 1944 was a crucial year for the resistance. Edmond Reveil, however, was a member of the French resistance. At a 2019 National Veterans Association meeting, he got up and addressed the other veterans about a mass execution of German soldiers in which he had participated. He had been living with a secret for decades. The mayor responded, he had plenty of opportunities over the years to tell the story and he never did. It was stated that he felt as like a burden had been removed. However, he was the final observer. He felt burdened by it. He was aware that no one would ever know if he remained silent. This old Frenchman was discussing the executions of roughly 40 German soldiers that had occurred as a result of French resistance. Between 50 and 60 German soldiers were captured by the resistance during a little rebellion that was organized by resistance members in Toul, the department capital of Corrèze, after D-Day on June 6, 1944. The Germans retaliated 3 days after D-Day, and they subsequently killed and publicly hanged 99 of their own hostages. More horror would come in the days after D-Day when the Germans found the burned remains of SS commander Helmuth Kempffe, who had been imprisoned inside a field ambulance and later set ablaze. After that, 643 people were slaughtered inside the village of Oradour-sur-Glane by the SS Das Reich Division. Men were imprisoned in a barn and shot by machine gun fire before the barn was set on fire, while women and children were locked in a church that was later destroyed by fire. Although Edmond Reveil, a participant in the Toul uprising, later joined a group of resistance members that moved east, the settlement eventually became a ghost town and remains a memorial today. We didn't know what to do with the prisoners they had taken, and none of the resistance groups wanted anything to do with them, he stated. The German prisoners they had taken were taken to Meymac with the help of these men. According to the statement, if a prisoner wanted to urinate, he needed to be guarded by 2 of us. Some of the inmates had split off from the rest of the group. We didn't have any food plans. An Allied command center was in charge of us, and it was they who issued the directive to murder them. Edmond Reveil, the last living member of the FTP's local resistance group, would later be present when up to 40 German soldiers were executed at a location known as Le Vert. Other Wehrmacht members as well as other collaborators, such as a French woman who had worked with the Gestapo, were among the captives and inmates. However, the resistance members did not want to shoot her after being told to murder them, so they drew straws, and the loser was forced to do it. Codename Hannibal was the leader of this force that was defending the soldiers, and it was reported that he cried like a kid when he got the order, but there was discipline in the resistance. he requested people to execute the directive. Each warrior had a target to eliminate. However, some of us, including myself, recounted Reveille, saying that we wouldn't participate. After that, Reveille described the events involving the executions. He claimed that it was a very hot day in the country. They had to dig their own graves because of us. We doused them with quicklime, which killed them. I recall that it had a bloody stench, and we didn't talk again. The witness would carry this secret with him for more than 75 years, and it is obvious that it must have been on his mind and that it would have followed him to the hereafter if he hadn't spoken about it. The story would not stop with the deaths of the remaining executioners who slaughtered the scores of soldiers. Although there were no records indicating the precise location of the dig, it was thought that a team of archaeologists had discovered the remains of 11 German bodies from Louvert in the 1960s. This was carried out in total secrecy, and a local resident who has worked with contemporary archaeologists recalled seeing the excavations and finds. This is because the German War Graves Commission will be looking for the remains of the German troops who went missing after being executed over the course of the following few weeks. The testimony of the 98-year-old resistance member has also been utilized to attempt to locate the remains of these individuals. The quest for the bodies of the German troops and collaborators who were executed has generated a lot of media attention. Reveille, a 98-year-old man, believes that in order to have a memorial erected close to the site, he wants these fallen warriors to be remembered and their memories shared with their families. However, in addition to the numerous other crimes and atrocities done by the French resistance, German forces have also committed war crimes. Many of these have not yet been discovered, and the victims are still buried underground. Massive mass graves of people who were slaughtered within concentration camps or executed by Einsatzgruppen can still be found all over Europe. A large number of these individuals have been dug up and interred in a suitable graveyard. Additionally, there are some unidentified German troops who perished in these POW camps and are buried inside Britain. It is unknown, however, if the 40 German soldiers who were killed at Louvert can be located or have been located. 11 are thought to have been exhumed, leaving roughly 30 to be found. However, decades after the conclusion of the bloodiest war in history, the testimony of a 98-year-old man has brought Second World War executions to the attention of the world. Thank you for viewing. Please make sure to subscribe in order to support our station. Thank you for viewing.